नमस्कार दोस्तों, welcome to Pragmatic View channel. Today I'm going to talk about NATO. What is NATO? The full form of NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which is also known as the North Atlantic Alliance. NATO is a political and military alliance between North America and Western Europe, which was formed after the Second World War. What is the background and how NATO was origin? Let me tell you briefly about it. In 1948, the Treaty of Brussels was signed by France, Netherlands, UK, Luxembourg, and Belgium. This treaty was basically an anti-communist pact. It was signed after Second World War to counter communism and or communist ideology, and also possible Germans attack after Second World War on these countries. Later in 1949, the North Atlantic Treaty was signed by US, Canada, Italy, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Portugal, and France, Brussels, okay, Netherlands, UK. All of these countries were also part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. North Atlantic Treaty, okay. All of these above these five countries also took part at the North Atlantic Treaty, okay, which was signed in 1949. This treaty means the North Atlantic Treaty led to the formations of NATO in 1949, okay, by these 12 countries. What are these? These seven countries and these 5 countries, they form the NATO, and the headquarters is in Belgium, okay. So NATO is created in 1949 and the headquarters is in Brussels in Belgium. So currently NATO, the military organizations, has 30 members, 30 country members, okay, and North Macedonia is the latest to join NATO in 2020. So I am giving you the list of the NATO. So the red color here is the original member, okay, the 12 original members. These are the 12 original members, like Belgium and Canada. These are the original, okay, original founding members of the NATO. And this is from 1 to 30. It is alphabetically arranged. So at the side, right side of the country, it is the year of joining to NATO is given, okay. So here the 20 number is North Macedonia is the latest one to join NATO. So here you see this these are the the blue color, this blue color, all of this blue color entirely, this all blue colors, right here also. So these are the part of NATO, okay. You can see clearly here, okay. This is all of these countries are the member of NATO. So what is the purpose of NATO? Why it was formed? Okay. So the main purpose of the NATO is to safeguard freedom and security of members. Members means the 30 members now, or the total members of NATO. is to guarantee the freedom and security of its member through political and military means. Okay, so if necessary, they can use their military to protect their freedom and the security of their country. Okay, the members country. And the second is to counter communist ideology, as I said in the background. So the second purpose is to counter the communist ideology, especially the USSR. Okay, so NATO was formed largely to counter the threat from the Soviet Union after the Second World War. So the communism is spreading in the Eastern Europe and the Central Europe. So it was a great threat for the North America and West Europe from the Soviet Union. Okay, so to counter the NATO, the USSR had created its own military alliance in 1955 to counter NATO, okay, called the Warsaw Pact. However, Warsaw Pact got disbanded with the disintegrations of Soviet Union in 1991, and several of the Warsaw Pact countries became NATO members. So when the Soviet Union disintegrated or separated from each other, after that the separated or the independent countries which were separated from the Soviet Union have also joined NATO, okay, NATO organizations. And the third major purpose of NATO is the system of collective security. What does it mean? It means an attack on one member state is considered as an attack on all member state, okay, and therefore it calls for collective response. Let me give you an example. Okay, for example Russia, okay, which is Russia is a communist country. Okay, it's a communist country. So if Russia attacks, for example, France, if Russia attacks France, and France is part of what? NATO. Okay, therefore if France is attacked by Russia, then all 29 countries of NATO will consider that they have been attacked, because one country is equal to 30 countries. So if one country is attacked, it means the opponent country has attacked all of them. Therefore, they will have to fight collectively. They will have to fight jointly, and they will start. This is their promise. They made a promise that if any one of our members is attacked, then we will give a collective response. Okay, this is the third major purpose of NATO. So there are there are 5 major purpose. I'm going to discuss only 3. And now, who controls NATO? So a military committee, it is the NATO's highest military authority, which composed of the chiefs of defense of all 30 member countries. So in this military committee, okay, the chiefs of defense from these 30 member countries, they form this. It means there is an equal representation from all 30 members, right? So NCS consists of 2 strategic commands, that is Allied Command Operations, SCO, and Allied Command Transformations. So through this they operate the military exercise. Okay, so as I told little bit about Warsaw Pact. So Warsaw Pact, officially known as Warsaw Treaty Organizations of Friendship, Cooperation and Mutual Assistance. Okay, it was set off in 1955 in Warsaw, which is in Poland. Okay, and an organizations, Warsaw Pact is an organization of communist state in Central and Europe, Eastern Europe. Okay, the countries, the communist state in Central and Eastern Europe, they formed this Warsaw Pact. Warsaw Pact. So who are the member countries of this Warsaw Pact? So it is Albania, Bulgaria, Eastern Germany, Hungary, Poland, Romania, USSR, and Czechoslovakia. Okay, Czechoslovakia is also was also the member of Warsaw Pact. So see, the Warsaw Pact in 1968, Albania withdrawn from the Warsaw Pact. The membership was withdrawn by Albania. Similarly, Poland in 1990, Poland also withdrawn. 1990, East Germany withdrawn and German unified. So there is, East Germany, okay, and West Germany. So these two portion of Germany unified, and East Germany withdrawn from the Warsaw Pact. So East Germany was ruled by the communist government. So later it has withdrawn from Warsaw Pact and German was unified. In 1991, Warsaw Pact dissolved. Okay, why it was dissolved? Because in 1991, the Cold War was ended, and after the end of the Cold War, USSR, which is the Soviet Union, has disintegrated, means it has divided into many independent countries. Okay, therefore these countries have become independent, and after the disintegrations of the USSR, many countries have joined NATO. For example, Albania was here, you can see, okay, Albania, Bulgaria, East Germany, Hungary, Poland, these were the part of Warsaw Pact, but they are now, here you can see, they are now the member of NATO. Okay, so after the disintegrations of USSR, they have joined NATO. Okay, so I hope it is clear. And so you can see here, okay, this was the West Germany and this was the East Germany. This East Germany was controlled by this Warsaw Pact earlier, but after this boundary was collapsed and they become united. Okay, they become united. So this red color was the Warsaw Pact countries, these are, and this blue color are the NATO countries. Okay, so what's the Russia's issue with NATO? What is the issue? Okay, we should know it. As you know, Russia is feeling a threat from NATO. NATO is against Russia because NATO is formed by the capitalist country and Russia is a communist country. Therefore, there is a big friction. Okay, and Russia wants assurance from West. It means from the West means America, USA and Western Europe as a whole, that Ukraine will not be allowed to join NATO. Russia demands that Ukraine should not join. Okay, Ukraine should not join NATO. Russia repeatedly wants assurance from America, please don't allow Ukraine to join NATO. Okay, however, this Kyiv is currently partner country, okay, of the NATO countries, which means it will be allowed to join the military alliance in future. Although Ukraine is not part of NATO now, but there is high possibility of joining NATO in future. However, the US and its Western allies are refusing to bar Ukraine from NATO. Okay, Russia is saying, please bar or please don't allow Ukraine to become NATO member. However, USA and NATO members, they are refusing to, bar, to stop Ukraine from, joining NATO, because they are saying Ukraine is a sovereign country and it has the right and free to choose its own security alliance. Okay, they are saying it is the will and the freedom of Ukraine to, choose or join any security alliance, whether it may be the Russia or any other, security or any other security alliances. But all independent country or sovereign country have their own rights to join any security alliances. So you cannot impose any, any order or any aggressive measures upon a sovereign or independent country. So USA and the NATO members, they are refusing to stop Ukraine from NATO, which means they want Ukraine to join NATO. Okay, so let me tell you a brief comparisons. NATO versus Warsaw Pact. See, NATO defense against outsider or outside force or aggressions. For example, okay, outside force means Russia is attacking them and they have the right to defend themselves. So this is the one purpose. Similarly, Warsaw Pact was also made on the similar purpose. Okay, defense against outsider force. For example, USA is or any France or Poland is attacking, so they or any other NATO countries are were attacking them, then they have the right to defense. Okay, so NATO is a main diplomatic tool of USA. Okay, so here NATO is, for the NATO, USA is a big player. Okay, and for Warsaw, the main player is USSR. Okay, which is now the major country, which was the major country of USSR is now Russia. Okay, and third number is defensive against the aggressions. Okay, aggressions, defensive. Defensive means if you attack me, I will defend myself. That is the philosophy of NATO. However, Warsaw Pact is aggressive against NATO members. Means whoever is NATO member, the NATO member countries, it may be Poland, it may be Hungary, it may be France, it may be Belgium. So they are against those countries. The Warsaw Pact members, they are more aggressive for expansion and attacking the other countries. Okay, so this is aggressive and this is defensive. NATO is defensive and Warsaw is aggressive. Okay, Warsaw is aggressive, and this NATO is Western Europe, and this is particularly the Eastern Europe. Okay, if we divide it, and this is capitalist ideology. The NATO countries are having capitalist. Okay, capitalist ideology means maximum individual participations. Okay, individual participations, and it is, state, all means of productions is controlled by the state. Okay, state. So, and NATO is still active. NATO is still active. Okay, it's active now. However, this one, Warsaw, it dissolved. Okay, it got dissolved after 1991. Okay, it got dissolved in 1991, I should say. Okay, in 1991 it got dissolved. I hope it is clear. And if you haven't subscribed to the Pragmatic View channel, please subscribe, share with your friends for update, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you so much.